Welcome back. By the end of this lesson, you will know what a line of boolean code looks like and how you can use it to change the properties of the parts within Roblox Studio. Let's get started. So we are working in Roblox Studio with that purple wall on the last lesson on coding. And in this one, I'm going to go ahead and add another script. So to do that again, we go to Explorer, click the plus button, and then just click on Script, and then go ahead and delete the first line. And so I'm going to start with a comment, and to do a comment, we do two hyphens, and I want you to see the word boolean. So a line of boolean code is a data type that will only have one of two possible values. And so another way to think of this is it will either be true or false. And so that's the easiest way to think of a line of boolean code. And you're going to notice the line of code we start off with is going to be very similar to the one we did in the previous lesson. And in this one, we're going to change something that can either be true or false. So in the last lesson, we talked about transparency that could have more than two values. You could have 0 or 0.1 or 0.5 or 1. And so it could have many different kinds of values. But a Boolean is just going to have either be true or false. Now, the easiest way to know if what you're programming is true or false is to go over to the Explorer tab. And I'm going to click on Purple Wall. And when I look at the properties, right? So I'm looking at the properties. And what I want to do is just see something that can be clicked. So cast shadow is something that can be turned on or off. And so that means with a line of code, that would be a Boolean code. So you could turn it on or off. So it'd be true or false. And then another one, the one we're going to do in this lesson is the can collide. So if you remember from previous lessons, when we were talking about building, that you can have can collide turned on or off, and that will affect the whether or not a player can go through the wall or go through the part, or will be able to touch the part, and then and so forth. So since I can turn that on or off, that is a Boolean value. So let's go ahead and see what a line of code would look like. So we need to first reference the part. So we're going to work with the purple wall. So I'm going to go ahead and find it. Remember, to find it, remember it's withheld within game. And then you're going to have a period, and then you're going to find the next category for it. And so it's going to be, if you look at where it's located, it's in workspace. So I'm going to do workspace. And sometimes I like to type out, and sometimes I like to click on what I'm seeing there. And then now, instead of changing, and then we need to reference the part. So purple wall. So there's purple wall. And then lastly, we're going to have the property that we're going to change. So now it's giving me the options there. And so let's go ahead and find can collide. And I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. So now I'm going to be changing the can collide. So space and then equals. And so now we can either have can collide on or off. So we need to use, in order to change a Boolean value, you need to use either the word true or false. So if you want to be able to collide with the object, we're going to put true. So let's go ahead and now see how this works when we test it. So that means we should be able to touch the part and not go through it. So when I play this, of course, we can check the output for any errors. No errors, that's good. So that means right now I will not be able to go through the wall. I can jump on it and those kinds of things. So I can collide with it. Now, let's say I wanted to change that. Again, instead of clicking it in the properties like we did before, now you can change it right here with the line of code. So instead of true, I'm going to go with false. And so those are the only two values that a Boolean line of code can have. Now, there are other ways that you can represent Boolean line of code. This is the simplest way, but for right now, let's just stick with this. And so now let's go ahead and play this and then see if I'm able to go through the wall. And I should be able to, because I turned can collide off. And so the line of code is doing the work for me now. Okay, and so this is the easiest way to think of Boolean code. And you're going to come across this many times in your coding. And so I want to just give you a nice, simple introduction to this line of code. Your action item for today is to go ahead and change the properties of something that is a Boolean value. So again, look through the properties of the object, find something that can be turned on or off, and then you can use the line of code that we were using in this lesson so that you can change that to either be true or false. So I thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson.